On the show, in Wheel Spin, we drive the recently launched Maruti Suzuki Celerio. In Wheel Spin, we take a first look at the Hyundai Xcent and also at the Datsun Go as the first one rolls off the assembly lines in Chennai. In Auto Expo Special, we bring you the action from India's largest automotive exhibition.
It's a nice nippy cold morning out here, but what's really warming up things is this little red hot hatch. This is the latest one from Maruti, the Maruti Celerio. What does Celerio mean, you might wonder, as I was? Well, Celerio means the celestial river. Now, what's a car got to do with a river? You figure that one out while I tell you about this little one. This is, in true Maruti tradition, a hatchback, but it's more stylish, as you can see, and obviously being the latest from Maruti, it's loaded with gizmos. But where it really differs from the other hatches is in the drivability. This auto-shift gearbox is supposed to do is make automatic transmissions a little more user-friendly in the sense that the fuel efficiency will improve, and obviously with the ease of driving that automatic transmissions provide, they should become a nice car to drive. And that's something I will personally look forward to.
Maruti has been one company which has introduced one hatchback after another, and they have been immensely popular too. So much so that today the Indian car market comprises of over 70% cars which are hatchbacks. Given their expertise to make hatches, the Celerio comes as no surprise. The Celerio is a typical Maruti, small, compact and with an engine which is easy to drive and own. But where the Celerio mainly differs from the rest of the Maruti products sold so far is in terms of transmission. Maruti is offering the Celerio in both manual as well as an automatic transmission, or what they call the auto gear shift.
The Celerio is a brand new car sitting on a new platform with a new engine, and obviously the interiors too are new. In fact, the dual tone beige and black interiors look quite nice, and so is the instrumentation and the fascia. And what I'm really impressed with are the useful conveniences which the car has been packed in with. The stereo here has a Bluetooth which can pair 5 phones, and that's really convenient. The instrumentation cluster here has a host of information which you will find very useful on an everyday basis. Overall, I feel the Celerio is a car which is very practical with its compact size, great fuel efficiency, and it's actually a regular everyday use car.
The Indian market so far has been rather biased against automatics. The main reason being they are expensive to buy as well as to drive, with a fuel efficiency which borders on the thirsty side. And of course, many of the previous automatic transmissions in small cars didn't drive well either. But with the Celerio, Maruti hopes to change all that. From a measly 1% share of the market for automatics, if the Celerio Auto Box works well with customers, then this percentage will surely increase. For a car the size of Celerio, it seems loaded with features, and it should appeal to people who are used to driving small hatches which are rather short on the features and creature comforts. The Celerio seems comfortable and convenient to drive and sit in. The engine and the gearbox were improved and worked in Maruti's facility here, and this auto box, which is basically the main USP of the Celerio, will in fact decide the future of mass automatics in the country, because this is the first time in this segment one has got something close to an automatic transmission which drives well, gives an impressive fuel efficiency, and hopefully will be priced reasonably. And if that happens, we will certainly see more automatics on the Indian road.
The Celerio is powered by what Maruti calls the next generation K-series engine. The engine has been tweaked to improve performance, frictional losses have been reduced, compression ratio has been increased, and overall if you drive this car you feel the change. The engine is very refined, and this is mated to a 4-speed automatic gearbox, and the overall efficiency of the engine and the gearbox combined has made this car a very drivable one, and I'm sure if you drive this in the congested city conditions you will appreciate this. This automatic gearbox is what I feel has really changed things in this new Celerio. It has made driving a lot more easy. Instead of using a clutch which gets heavier by the minute if you're stranded in congested traffic, all you have to do here is flick the gear lever to the drive mode and just drive. And I tell you, if you use this gearbox in everyday city traffic conditions, I'm sure you will realize what a difference this has made to your life. I feel the future of Indian drivers and Indian driving is automatic gearboxes, and this Celerio is a right step in that right direction. What had so far got in the way of people acquiring automatic cars is the bad fuel efficiency it had and the sluggish performance. But in this Celerio, both the things are gone. The fuel efficiency is really good. It's over 23 kilometers according to ARI, and the drivability is really good. Okay, it's not a fast performance car, but then for everyday use, the power is adequate and the handling is good. The ride is very comfortable, and it has got space, especially headroom for even very tall and big guys. After having driven the Celerio, all I can say is that if Maruti gets the price right on this one, this will be a valuable addition to the entire hatchback segment, especially as this comes with what Maruti calls the auto gear shift or the automatic transmission. Automatics are the need of the hour, especially with congested traffic getting even worse. And if you find an automatic which gives a nice fuel average, that's what you need. To this, automatic transmission options add a whole lot of features and gizmos and space, which is comparable to any other hatchback in the segment. And as I said, you have got a car on your hands which will add value to the entire hatchback segment here and give you more choice as a buyer.
In India, if you drive a booted version of a small car, you go up a notch or two in your neighbor's esteem. But I tell you, if you are driving a small car, you are better out driving a hatch because it takes less of road space and it's easier to park and better in terms of fuel efficiency. But I don't think Hyundai here quite believes in my logic, because what they have done is add a boot to the grand item. Boot here will not only add a wee bit to your prestige in your neighbor's eyes, but what it will also do is give you some much needed luggage space. The boot here looks quite spacious, and if that long lost cousin of yours lands up one night at the airport, this would be a nice car to bring him home in, plus his luggage of course. What Hyundai has done here is quite predictable. They have changed a hatch into a 3-box car. They have added on this part as a boot, and the challenge here has been to keep the size down to under 4 meters to take benefit of the tax subsidies, and I think they have done a fairly good job of it. If you look at some of the cars which have gone through the same treatment, I dare say they look outright ugly. But not so in the case of this. This looks quite proportionate, and the boot certainly doesn't look like an add-on. The dimensions of this car remain identical except for the length. The length has increased a bit, but more importantly, it's the wheelbase which remains the same, and this means the space here in this car as compared to the hatchback remains identical. But what this car gets in addition to the hatchback are some premium features like a fully automated climate control, a parking sensors, parking camera, and the rear seat gets an armrest. And she rides on 15-inch wheels instead of the 14, which gives it a higher ground clearance and a higher stance. The 3-box here will also be sold with both petrol and diesel engine options, but the engine here is common. It's the same one that powers the hatchback, so expect the same drivability and the rideability, but the car will be slightly heavier, so acceleration figures might be a bit low and fuel consumption might just go up a little bit. The engine here will be mated to an automatic transmission as well, just like it's in the Grand i. What is this that you are getting in this 3-box Grand i10 called Xcent? Yes, with an X. You're getting a car which is heavier, which is longer, which in turn means it will accelerate slower than a proper hatchback, and it will also probably drink a little more gas than the regular hatchback Grand i10. But the trade-off is that you are getting a car with a proper boot. And this car is certainly going to be a little more expensive than the hatchback, by my reckoning about 50,000 rupees more. So whether you make that trade-off or not is your call. As for me, I will be quite comfortable driving a small hatch which is fuel efficient and easy to park and drive.
Now, while here at the Auto Expo, you might want to check out this subcompact car from the recently revived brand Datsun called the Go. Now, what is this car all about? Well, it's powered by a 1.2-litre engine and will be available at the Nissan dealerships. To find out more about this car, we spoke to Vincent Kobe and Ashwini Gupta on their grand plans, on what they plan to do and where they want to take this brand in the Indian market.
Today, we move on to the next step as Wragatam becomes the first plant in the world to produce the all-new generation of Datsuns, starting with Datsun Go.
The first Datsun Go worldwide rolled off the assembly line on the 4th of February from the Renault-Nissan Alliance plant in Oragadam, Chennai. Exact technical details and the price will be announced when the car is officially launched. But we expect the car to be on sale in March and it should be priced somewhere below 4 lakh rupees ex-showroom.
In this great market of India, the intention for Datsun brand is to provide a modern, reliable, aspirational answer to the needs of an emerging middle class. So our positioning is targeting in the sub 4 lakh segment the people who are moving up in society, who have high aspirations for the future. So we are positioned by a customer, we call them risers, people who see a bright future in front of them.
This is what we show as our Datsun product, Datsun Go, where you can see modernity in terms of styling, in terms of service, then durability in terms of the robust structure, then the reliability which will come as a total cost of ownership.
Today is the first day of the Auto Expo, or what they now call the Motor Show. This is a fair which is held every 2 years, and arguably this is the biggest motoring extravaganza in India. Traditionally this fair has been held in Pragati Maidan, but this year it has moved to the suburbs of Delhi in Greater Noida into a new venue. And it's now time for me to walk inside and see what the exhibitors have lined up. Time for me to see what our homegrown manufacturer Tata Motors has been up to. In fact, they launched two cars this morning, the Bolt and the Zest. What is the Bolt about? This is what I have with me. Basically, the Bolt is the same as the Vista in terms of the platform. She shares the same platform, which is called the X1 with the Vista. But where the Bolt really differs and has changed is in terms of the styling. She now has a different front end, the rear end too has changed, and so has the interiors. And even the wheels. Now she rides on 15-inch alloy wheels, which gives her a higher stance and a more sporty look. But if you open the bonnet of the car, especially the diesel one, you will find that she is still powered by that same 1.3-litre quadrajet engine. But in the petrol variant, she is powered by that Revtron engine, the new engine that Tata has launched, and that's more powerful. So essentially, the Bolt is a car which is sportier, which is faster, and which is much more attractive to look at than the regular Vista, and that will give any buyer a different choice. I'm here at the fourth stand, and what I have with me here is right now a concept. It's basically the Figo, which has been extended with a boot. And Ford plans to launch this at some point this year as a 3-box booted version of a Figo. Rest of the things, of course, remain the same.
For us, the Figo has been very successful. We've been very proud of that. What we're looking to do is expand our market coverage in the huge B segment within the country.
Unfortunately, at this point, I cannot open the door and show you the interiors because the car is locked. This is still in a concept stage. But what I can expect in times to come is that it will be quite similar to what the Figo is, but perhaps with the addition of some features which will make it more premium and obviously justify the increased price tag. The booted version is sure to have a price tag which is more than the hatchback, as in the case of most of the booted cars. But then you get more space, so you have to pay a little bit more.
And if you look around, we have a concept car there. We show also the flagship of the new Range Rover, long wheelbase, the autobiography black, and we show the absolutely flagship from a pure performance drivability point of view, the F-Type Coupe here. So I'm quite sure that the Indian customers will really go for this very special product.
Now, while Rajiv is checking out all the new modern cars at the Auto Expo, I'm looking into the future with the cars of tomorrow. That's right, the concept cars. Now, this wild, radical little thing that we've got here is called the Kwid, Renault Kwid. What it is, yes, it's obviously a concept car. As you can see, very futuristic styling, very modern design, and what I love about it is the off-road feel with the chunky tires and everything. So I don't know what these guys are trying to explore, a mini crossover or something, whatever. I love it. Now, the unique thing about this car is, apart from all the technical innovations that are there as a test bed in this particular car, they have something that they call the Flying Companion. Now, what is it? It's a remotely operated thing that's over here. You can see now this takes off from the rotating rear portion of the car, and this can be set on a predetermined flight path, or you could even control it manually via the touchscreen tablet that you see over here inside the car. Now, this particular thing allows you to, take it out and maybe scout the road ahead for obstacles or traffic jams, or even take pictures. So let me just try and give it a run. You guys have a look at what else is around. Harley-Davidson finally launched its much-awaited Street 750 at the 12th Auto Expo in New Delhi at a very, very tempting price of about 4.1 lakh rupees. Now, this bike is powered by a Revolution X 750cc engine, which has made it to a 6-speed gearbox. Now, what is interesting about this bike, it is specially been designed for city and the urban traffic. So the whole point about this bike is that it's going to be very, very easy to maneuver in city type traffic conditions with typical stop and go kind of traffic, and that is the USP of this bike. Another very interesting thing about this bike is that this bike can be customized from a 500-page catalog that is available at your Harley dealership. You could easily take this bike and get a custom paint job, something like this that we see here, customize it with a nice little backrest that you can see on this bike. And if you are into the touring type and that is the kind of person that you are, well, even the Street 750 can be customized and made into something like this. You get your front windscreen over here, you get your nice saddlebag, a tank saddlebag, a rear saddlebag over here, and that will totally transform the character of the bike. Or if you're still not happy, you can even go for something like that. Typical Harley-Davidson colors, aftermarket exhaust, aftermarket air filters, aftermarket wheels even, which will really change the character of this bike. And that does make this thing something out of the ordinary. What are you trying to do? You're trying to take away the bread and butter from Enfield, or you're trying to turn this into the Enfield?
No, not at all. In fact, I mean, when we talk about a Street 750 starting at 4.1 lakhs, we're still double the most expensive Enfield. We're in a different category by itself. And of course, we know that all Enfield enthusiasts, a lot of them are future Harley owners. So it's a very complementary relationship.
So
So what can you expect from Hyundai at this Auto Expo? Obviously this, the third generation Santa Fe, which they just launched. Prices starting at rupees 26 lakhs for the two-wheel drive with manual transmission, going all the way up to 29 lakhs with a four-wheel drive and an automatic transmission. Santa Fe has always been an SUV meant for the value conscious. It was loaded from top to bottom even initially when it was launched, but the sticker price was very affordable. Things seem to have slightly changed as the price positioning will now move it up the price ladder, and it's not really meant for the value conscious anymore. But at the same time, you get a car which is sharper designed, better looking, current generation with a much more fuel efficient engine, and obviously the interiors too have been worked on. So overall, this is an SUV which will play with the big boys.
Well, hanging around with the concept cars was a lot of fun, but now let's get down to something more practical, yet something that looks every bit as delicious and as enticing as the concept cars out there. Have a look at this. This is the Chevrolet Camaro, and not just any Camaro, this is the ZL1, the biggest and the baddest daddy of them all. Now, this car has a lot of history. It's been around for almost, 50, 60 years. We've seen the classic shape of this car, and now in its latest avatar, it looks every bit as enticing as the earlier one. What is so special about this particular one is that it comes in the Bumblebee color scheme, which was made famous in the movie The Transformers. I'm sure you've seen this one. Recollect this car? Yes, this is very particularly the same kind of paint scheme that was there on that car. So I think I'm going to have a lot of fun hanging around with my movie star. What do you have to say, Rajiv?
If Vineet thinks he's having fun with the concept cars, then wait till he sees what I have got. The red hot original muscle car out of Detroit. This is as iconic as it gets. The Corvette Stingray. 624 Newton meters of torque, 455 horsepower. She is red hot, and I can't wait to get in behind the wheels. Wait till Vineet sees this one. I'm sure he will go green with envy. So this was our day out at the Auto Expo, a day of launches, conferences and even some entertainment. And what really pleased me is that not only the number of launches but also the quality of the launches. And I think this year you customers are going to get a wide range of cars to choose from, and that's something to look forward to. Catch us again next week on the Auto Expo special, and we will have some more for you from this year's Expo.